Hello!
Hello, AOS fans!
It's the Agents of Weird Hollow.
And in this video, we're going to tell you 5 Rivals deck to play with Skabbik's Plaguepack.
Yep, Skabbik's Plaguepack, the latest Skaven warband. They've got some options out there.
Yeah, you've been our rat-infested correspondent for this season, and you've played them with several different, or you looked at them with several different options. Pete, where should we start?
So number 1 is good old Tooth and Claw.
Pretty good for any aggro-based warband.
Yeah.
And they are pretty aggro, aren't they? There isn't much mileage in playing them objective side, I don't think.
They have some objectives in their deck, but most of them are kill people and have objectives.
Right, okay.
So whether you're holding objectives or not, you're going to be stabbing people in the face a lot.
Or at least poisoning them.
Or poisoning them in some
Although,
way,
ironically, they don't have any poisons.
They don't, weirdly. Because they rely on swords, you want to try and improve your accuracy wherever you can, and Tooth and Claw does help with that too.
Absolutely does. A bit of extra ping damage with your other ping damage. Tooth and Claw is pretty solid for any warband, I think.
Pretty much.
I wouldn't like to say it's easy mode, but I think it's probably, if you're a beginner, Tooth and Claw is where I'd start with most warbands.
Most warbands can generally utilise Tooth and Claw and do well with it.
Yeah, but of course they do have lots of minions, which brings us on to number 2.
Which is Beastbound Assault. They have a lot of minions. Beastbound Assault are all about having beasts or minions and things like that. So there's potentially a lot of options in there to utilise the Beastbound Assault minion angle with the Skaven. Now there might be a problem with that in that the objectives, I think, for Beastbound Assault can be quite hard. A lot of them can be quite tricky to score, so you might favour the power cards and the upgrades from Beastbound Assault, but not the objectives.
Right, okay. I don't know what they do because the text is so long on the card because it's so many different possibilities that I'm falling asleep before I've got to the end.
And at number 3
is the Void Cursed. Now you suggested the Void Cursed to me, and I thought that doesn't really sound right to me. But actually, on reflection, after you explained it to me, it did seem a bit better. So they're mostly single defense. I think I thought they were more double defense.
Yeah, a lot of them don't actually go to double dice. Yeah, most
single dodge. So immediately the Void Cursed, any Void Cursed fighter on your side has got a shield, which is better. Yeah. They can't be pushed, which means you reduces the risk of being knocked out off an objective if you need it, or out of the zone for corrupting things. So that's really good. And then you've got a fair amount of movement shenanigans, objective holding stuff. And
that all really dovetails nicely with Skabbik's and their deck and the general stuff that they have going anyway, so you can really double down on all that to make yourself highly mobile.
Yeah, and you've got the tiny rat, because I think when you play Void Curse, we'll talk about this in another video, but I think when you play Void Curse, you want to be looking to play that card for getting everybody Void Cursed.
But you roll the dice for everybody around, Yeah,
no, I meant the objective. But the objective where everybody has to be Void Cursed. So you've got to try and get all your opponent's cards, which can be really good anyway, because if you're playing somebody with 2 dodge warbands, they drop to 1 shield, and that messes up their plan royally. You've got the rat, the little tiny rat, who isn't really worth killing, but if they don't kill him, he can just go. You can use him to play all those adjacent Void Curse cards, or the one that's around that you were talking about. So I think they've got options, and I think when you want to play Void Curse, having lots of fighters is quite good, even though it's a bit counterintuitive because you've got to get everybody Void Cursed. I think it helps because it's quite easy to Void Curse your own fighters, and if you've got more fighters, it's easier to Void Curse your opponent's fighters.
To spread the love around.
So and they do love doing that. The Plaguepack. I mean, that's all about whether they're spelling Void or Plague. They're very good at it.
The other thing is that when they're Void Cursed, they obviously can't use range 3 attacks or special actions. They've only got 1 special action. They have no range 3 attacks. So as long as you Void Curse that Skaven last, or wait till he's dead, then it doesn't really matter.
So number 4
is the Fearsome Fortress.
I'm a big fan of the Fearsome Fortress. I do like a bit of Fearsome Fortress.
I think that's because Fearsome Fortress was the first one around sort of holding some objectives.
It's a bit control-y, isn't it? But not too bad.
Yeah. And that's got some movement shenanigans in there and holding objective shenanigans and sitting around the middle of the board, which is kind of what the Skaven want to do. So
they don't want to get too deep, do they, so to speak? But they want to be in no man's land, and that's where Fearsome Fortress lies. And so you've got your befouling stuff while also scoring your objectives, which is
and there's some cards in there to help you make you a little bit more defensive if you're holding objectives and things like that as well. Cards to help put your fighters on guard, which also helps. So there's just a lot of things there to gel together.
Do the Skaven have to be on objectives to befoul things?
Yes.
So they can't use the feature token shenanigans that you've got in Fearsome Fortress. It does have to be objectives.
It does have to be objectives, but there's still lots of other options in there to help you with that as well. So I think there's a lot of mileage between Fearsome Fortress and Skabbik's.
Well, I have to wait and see whether people bring that up to tournaments and what have you.
And number 5...
Poisons.
No.
No. Oh,
sadly
I
not.
really feel like it ought to be poison.
Yeah,
but I guess
be.
they're plague rather than poison.
Yeah, there's a slight difference.
But they don't have any poison cards of their own, do they, to dovetail with the
sadly not.
toxic terrors?
Yeah.
So that's a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
So not poisons. I'm guessing not any of the early ones. Not illusory might.
Not Seismic Shock or Illusory Might. No,
Seismic Shock. No wizards.
No wizards at all.
So that probably leaves Delvers, Daring Delvers.
Daring Delvers, yes.
Ping damage.
They have got some ping damage in there. There's some nice ping damage
It is
cards.
quite pingy.
Yeah.
And again, you're on objectives, but you don't have to be like deep in your opponent's half objectives. As long as you get your objective placement right, they can be racking up those explorer points. And even if they're not, it means your opponent's coming in towards you, and then you can get them with the farting or whatever it is that they do.
Yeah, lots of farting.
Yeah.
Well, there's that one where everybody takes damage that is next to an objective that aren't holding it, so you want to try and stand on them.
Yeah.
You could be doing damage that way, and there's also the card that the Skaven have which does damage to people at the end of a round if you're standing next to them. So you could start racking up a lot of ping damage there. There's also the Flame Wisps, which is the one that enables you to potentially do damage to people, combined with the Skaven Vomity one, which could possibly do 2 damage. You could knock out a lot of ping damage with them.
So for maximising your ping damage, you're going for Daring Delvers as your last deck.
I think so. Okay. And then that helps counter their general lack of strong attacks. You just rely on that ping damage to just take out your opponent. So there you go. There are 5 Rivals decks to play with Skabbik's Plaguepack.
And they are a good fun warband to play.
Yeah.
Interesting addition. It'd be interesting to see if they have any legs. Well, they've got lots of legs. But I find with new decks, new warbands that they're really great and we really love playing them. And then there's so many warbands now and they come out so fast that it can be asked. I was thinking about the other day, Drom. Remember him?
Yeah. Oh, good old Drom.
Velmorn.
Just so many warbands. You just sit and think.
Even Domitan Stormcove, and it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about those.
Yeah, they came out only 2 warbands ago, and they came out. Yeah. There's just so many options.
We do love Underworld, but it can be a bit of a treadmill.
Yeah.
But the treadmill continues with the brilliant Skabbik's Plaguepack.
Yes. Do leave us a comment below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell.
And you've probably heard me say it millions of times before. If you can, we would love to have your support over on Patreon. You'll find a description in the link below. That's not right. A link in the description below. And you'll find all sorts of competence like that on our Patreon.
Yeah, there's also going to be a tournament in September, and if you're a Patreon member, you will get a discount to enter that one. So that's another little bonus. So we'll see you soon in the Weird Hollow.